Okay. Okay. Let's see here. We streaming. Maybe start streaming. Okay. Make sure I get this going. Okay, there we go. We're streaming. Okay. Um, I don't think no one's in the chat right now. So just a heads up if someone does jump in the chat. Gonna talk a little bit about Spider-Man. Okay. I loved it. Really liked the movie.
Yeah.
My only thing is, and I'm actually of two minds of it. On one hand, they kind of did to Mysterio kind of a little bit, not really though, but a little bit like they did to the Mandarin in what was that, Iron Man 3? Yeah, it was Iron Man 3. Because he wasn't really who he was. He wasn't, this all powerful whatever. On the other hand, God, that was an awesome way to portray Mysterio because Mysterio is literally just like, one thing in front of your eyes over and over and never knowing what the hell is going on. And I was like, they did a really good job with that. So like I said, part of me was like, man, I kind of wish that he really was the magical dude. But on the other hand, I'm like, how they figured him up, I'm like, man, that was actually really good. Like I really did like him. So thoughts. That was my only thing that I walked out of that I was just like on two minds of. Otherwise, I freaking adored it.
We're having a bidding war now over the subboard.
Oh, that's the best situation right there.
Yeah, but he is so ethical. This is. If you've seen The Good Place, this is cheating. He's having a cheaty moment, and he can't decide. So this is his worst ethical nightmare because he wants everybody to have everything they want and be happy, and because he has to decide on someone's happiness.
Nope, highest bidder. It's the way to do it.
No.
Stop saying sorry. Okay, he's starting off every sentence with sorry.
Yes, because I am. I feel that. That's the way it is. It's very Canadian.
Nuts. No, it's you.
Somebody else appreciates
really you.
No, they appreciate your honesty, not the fact that you said sorry 13 times in your message.
Yeah, so I'm excited as all get out. I have to say that Top Gun Maverick trailer looked good. That Witcher trailer.
Yes.
Wow. I knew, like, I've never played the game, so I don't care one way or the other, because some people are like, it's not going to be like the game. Yeah, they're following the book, whatever.
Yeah.
They dumped some money in that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good. But that Picard trailer just blew me away. I know two really, really big Trek fans, and I watched both of them had posted it on Facebook, and the one guy was like, "I wasn't prepared. I'm in tears right now."
What did you think of it, Sean?
Oh, it was so amazing.
Yeah.
The only thing in the whole trailer, like seeing Data at first in pieces, was like awesome, but then when right at the very end when like, dude, little too much makeup, you're puffed out the line, like he looks like he's so swollen up.
But I'll take it. I'll take it.
Oh yeah, it's Brent Spiner. It's great, but I was kind of hoping that they would reactivate B4 and change his appearance so another actor could play Data. Mm-hmm. To me, that would make more sense than to try to de-age Brent Spiner with makeup. Do it digitally if you have to.
Well, who knows? This is the first season. Maybe he's going to be this way in this first season, and then maybe they change it later on.
Oh, seeing 7.
Oh, wow, that was the other thing. Everyone was like, "What the?"
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff about it, man.
That was really cool. I was like, "Holy crap! They're really not. This is going to be so amazing."
Yep, I think so. As long as they don't drop the ball on it, like this is where all the Trek fans are going to be like coming out of the woodwork, coming back.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And at least here in the U.S., you got to have the CBS All Access to watch it, and everyone who's going to be like, I'm getting it now. They're going to be like, well, I heard this other Star Trek show was pretty good. I've already got the access. Might as well watch it. Get them hooked on that. Like this is what they really needed.
Torrents.
So I texted Jay. Let me message Jay again real quick. So last night we had, sorry about that. Last night we had our first monthly board gaming get together. After Geeks Weekend, we were, it's that usual thing. Oh, we should get together once a month and play games, and it never happens. This year I was like, nope, screw it. So I made a reminder to myself on my phone. The next week I set up a Facebook group, and I was like, all right, this is for trying to get together to play games once a month. I said I will host the first month. What day looks good for everybody? Everyone decided. Jen's actually out of town, but ended up being me, my brother, my mom, and my dad came over. Lainey and Joseph came over, and Will came over. So we had 6 people playing, and had a lot of fun. And we're like, all right, well, let's go ahead and figure out for next month. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Like I said, it's one of those things I've been meaning to do, and just haven't, and finally got around to it. And I'm so glad I did. So.
You guys get a big thunderstorm, Sean?
No, there was a bit of thunder, but we had some rain. But nothing torrential or anything like that. Not enough. I'm going to have to turn on the sprinklers tomorrow.
I have not turned on my sprinklers yet. I haven't fertilized. I haven't turned on the sprinklers every week. Like during the weekend, it's like, well, guess I'm going to turn them on now. And I was mentioning it to my dad, and he goes, yeah, I think I was supposed to get thunderstorms on Tuesday. I'm like, oh, well.
Oh, yeah.
I have no problem keeping my water bill down below $100. Not a problem at all.
Oh, I wish.
So.
And for me, to water my entire lawn takes me 6 freaking hours. I'm 2 hoses going in different spots of the lawn all the time. It's crazy.
You got a sand point?
I took the sand point. I have the well, but where the pump was, I was gutting the carriage house, and that's going to be all the finished spots. So I have to build a new shed to put the sand point in. And the way I'm going, I don't think I'll have it done this year. It'll probably be next year.
Yeah, I wanted to build a little shed this year too. I don't think it's going to happen. The weather has not cooperated for me.
No.
Every time, Friday was way too hot to do anything.
I was in Tyvek.
Oh, dude.
Man, it was the first time where the heat stress was enough that I went down on one knee in the rubber area, and I was like, no, that's it. I'm out. So.
I was with the VP. I was with Kozak there on Wednesday, and had to go around the entire station. We started at 693. We started at 10:30, and I finished up at 4:30 with them on 615 elevation. They're just doing rounds, and then it took me 2 hours to put all the wrist entries in. So yeah, it was crazy.
I thought you had this week off.
I did. I went in for overtime.
Oh, well then I don't feel too guilty.
Oh, come on! Look who I had to carry around, right?
Yeah, truffles.
2 things. Jay said he's not going to make it.
Yay.
Second thing, one of my friends posted this. A party where every guest gives a drunken PowerPoint presentation. So basically, you go to the party, there's enough computers, everyone has to create a 3-minute presentation on something they're passionate about. And then you wait a little bit until everyone's had a few drinks, and then it's like, all right, get up there and present. I'm like, that would be amazing.
That would be fun.
They should do it up here. You could do it when they're high too.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
certain states down there.
I would love to see because making sure that it's something someone's passionate on, because you can imagine they're just gonna go off on freaking rails and just.
Yeah, but by the end of the night, you're gonna get that one person that just closes their eyes the whole time, be like, "Man, you just don't get it. It's so what?" Just love it, you guys. Love you guys. It's just
Somebody's gonna cry.
That would be awesome.
it'd be Sean crying.
No.
Yeah, probably. 3 minutes wouldn't be a long enough time, though.
No, especially not for something you're passionate in. Like, I'd barely get started. You know what sucks? The root beer I used to drink, the Not Your Father's, both of the big grocery chains here stopped carrying it. Like, the only place I can go to get it now is like at a liquor store. And I'm like, that's
Me too.
do what?
That one that Christy took me to.
No, not that one. It was.
That woman took me to some janky parts of town, apparently.
Yeah, she was telling me, she's like, yeah, that was kind of scary.
Eugene did not take me to those locations.
No.
I took you to nice, colorful, well lit.
Janky liquor store in Texas.
I will say this though, when you were driving us to go the Galaxy Burger,
I was nervous.
I was like, dude, I don't know where the hell I am, but this is not where a restaurant should be.
Oh yeah.
Why is it here?
What's funny is they've moved to a different part of town. It's not really that much better of a part of town. It's closer to my house now, but it is much bigger. Like, it's, you know how you were kind of claustrophobic in there? Like, there's room. They have stuff like set up for kids can kind of go goof off with or whatever. So we'll sit there and eat, and kids will go like, "Hey, I'm gonna play," or like, whatever. But yeah, it's a much better location or whatever. So
It was really good.
yeah. So, all right. Well, Jay's not joining us, and we've got stuff for the intro. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Does anyone need to go run to the bathroom, get a drink?
All right. Yeah, we're gonna have two things. I'm gonna run just real quick, and then would like to say hi. I think is that what you?
No, I actually want to share one.
Okay, he wants to share something with you guys. So.
Oh, okay.
It will have to be TV show.
No,
you can just. I think it's for the. Right.
We were telling him the premise of show. Okay, go ahead, babe.
I got one video game character villain that I think can be quite misunderstood.
Okay.
Bowser from Mario.
Okay, why do you think Bowser's misunderstood?
Because he's trying to marry Peach to be the mother of Bowser Jr.
Right.
And the 6 other ones, Morton, Roy,
Iggy, yeah.
They're adopted by Bowser, and he's trying to have a mother for them. So he doesn't have to be a single parent. So there you go.
So he's not necessarily, you're saying he's not necessarily evil. He's just maybe going about it the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
All right,
I had another idea for Ganondorf, but it's just way too death. Seriously. It's just too much.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Other picture.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so you're loving on the puppy. Are you a dog person or a cat person or both?
Dog person.
Dog person.
The cat be really good with Minerva. Both of them are very comfortable with her. I'm still a little hesitant around her. She bit me, so I'm still.
It was
You
painful.
stuck your finger in her mouth. She likes the dog food. I didn't think that was going to happen. She'll eat the dog food.
Oh yeah.
The cat's eating the dog poop?
You have to separate them.
I've never had that before. It's always been the dog eating the cat poop.
Well, we were prepared for that, so we would leave his dish out after she was finished eating. But she keeps going after his food.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Weird.
He lives on a farm and
She feeds his cats dog food. You're supposed to feed cats dog food? I don't know. Well, you can't feed Wicket the kitty food. He's going to get fat.
Yeah. Every so often, we've gotten where we have to lock the kittens up in the laundry room. And anytime I switch, I'm literally just moving the bowls around. Max's bowl is sitting out all day. They can get to it. But for whatever reason, they're like, oh, this is something new. And they both will take at least one bite of the dog food. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it's as big as your mouth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's huge. But it's big for him too, but it's dental food. Mm-hmm. He doesn't swallow it whole like most dogs. Dogs are dumb like that, but figure it out. And it's also been really, really hot, so I don't think he's had much of an appetite, but
yeah, Max hasn't been eating that much. So our newest endeavor right now is the kittens like to jump up on the cabinet, and then they jump on the refrigerator, and then they jump to the top of the cabinets, and then they like to knock stuff over.
Super.
Yeah, it's not really sitting well with Christy.
No. She's starting to sort of bat at our shoes, and she likes the foam shoes. So the Crocs and Sanooks, she likes to try to bite those, and then she keeps trying to get up onto the tabletop. I tried rubbing everything down with orange oil. We read that citrus oil cats don't particularly like. So that, and I don't know if it wasn't strong enough or she was just like, screw you, lady, I'm going to do it anyway. So.
Yeah, probably just a big fat fuck you.
Probably, yeah.
Wait till you go try putting your shoes on and you've got cat toys jammed into the toes. Because that's where she'll hide them. It sucks, especially at like 5 o'clock in the morning. You're like, I've been out, like starting up the truck. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with my feet? And I like pull them out in the middle of the truck, and springs and toys, and holy crap!
That's awesome.
We got our bigger toys right now so far, like the wand with the thing attached.
Oh yeah,
she loves this thing.
And then we got her. It's a cardboard scratch.
Oh yeah.
Thing. So she can scratch her nails on.
Cardboard scratch pad.
But it's got like a hole in it with like a ball or whatever. She likes. Yeah, she likes that. And then we've got.
This she has not played with yet.
No, but the ball, one of Wicket's toys, is this big rubber ball, and she likes it.
She's having a snooze right now.
And she's snoozing. She slept underneath the couch for most of the day too. I think it's because it was cooler down there.
Yeah.
Wait till you give her catnip.
Oh, we have given her.
Fun. Oh.
So we spray all of her toys that we wanted to play with. We sprayed with catnip. That seemed to help.
But she totally was rolling around.
Oh yeah, she's like, yes.
Christy was just mentioning that today. She goes, "We need to get some catnip and see what these old guys do." So it's funny because some of our cats would just like, were just kind of into it a little bit. Some of our cats just like they were so stoned. They were stoned off of their ass.
She's a stoner, but I think she enjoys.
But she only has a limited amount of the actual stuff. We use the spray, which is interest to her. I think if we put more of the actual stuff out there, I think she'll be right into it.
Yeah.
Make her cat a pothead.
Yeah. Plug a brownie, or not a brownie, but
like a dog.
Like a dog weed equivalent of a brownie. Here's your treat, boy.
All right.
I get arrested for animals cruelty.
I
mean, you're getting them high. It's not like you're.
Worst things in life.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm sure some people have something to say.
You're in a weird headspace. A little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Apparently, my family just walked in. They were my brother had was cooking hot dogs at his house afterwards, so we went over there, and I was like, I gotta leave early so I can get home to try to get the show going. Of course, Windows. So, but alrighty then. Let me go ahead and mute, and we'll get started. Welcome out to the Epically Geeky Show, episode number 119. I'm your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. Tonight's opening question is, did you have a favorite cartoon villain? Would anyone like to go first?
Sure.
All right, Ray, who was your favorite cartoon villain?
I have to go with Pinky and the Brain. They were
okay.
They were my favorite villains because you got to see it from their perspective, and man, they were fun to watch.
Yeah, they were. I loved Pinky and the Brain, very much so. Chris, did you have a favorite cartoon villain?
I could think of only two. I had a hard time with this one. I couldn't really remember a lot of the cartoon characters from when I was a kid. Dr. Claw, I really liked him because for a couple reasons. Because you only saw his arm, which I thought was pretty cool. And he had the cat, and he would always be stroking the cat, and all of a sudden something would happen on the monitor, and he'd just like freak out on the cat and like squeeze it with something, and the cat would freak out. And also Cyril.
Maybe there was a reason why.
And then Cyril Sneer from the Raccoons, which is a Canadian television show.
Wow. That's a blast from the past.
Had a bubbling nephew, and I thought he was nose was funny. And
He always had a cigar in his mouth.
And like, hey, I thought he was funny.
Sean, did you have a favorite cartoon villain?
I always liked Doc Terror from Centurions.
Oh, yeah.
That cyborg thing, he rocked it. When you think of a villain, that was it.
I would. Go on.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, mine, hands down, has to be Soundwave. Like the voice, he's one of my favorite Transformers. Period. But of the Decepticons, man, he was just.
That's actually who I was about to bring up, and I was like, no, I bet you he's going to do it. So
that was definitely. There's, of course, I've talked about multiple costumes I like to do. I would love to do a really awesome Soundwave because that would be awesome.
And then for them to bring it out in the movie, right? Bumblebee, they used.
Yeah. Oh yes, They nailed that all the way around. Like, was it 10 minutes of that movie that was worth the price of admission by itself. Like everything else, I was like, this is great, but this is what I really came for.
Yeah. Ian Ravage. Oh man.
Oh yes. So, well, the reason I bring this up, unfortunately, our buddy Jay couldn't make it on tonight's episode, and this was actually a topic he came up with. We're calling it Cartoons Reloaded. So basically, he put it as going back and looking at some of the cartoons that we grew up on, but looking at it in a different light, specifically kind of looking at maybe some of the characters, some of the villains that maybe they were just misunderstood. Maybe there's another light to look at, what's going on, to look at their eyes. But you could also say this was also, you could also look at it from any other perspective. We're going back, we're looking at some of these cartoons and seeing if there was maybe a different perspective that you could have looked at them on. So, that being said, would anyone like to go first?
Sure.
All right. Oh, you can go?
I'd like to, offer anybody else to go first, but that's okay. I'll go first.
Go for it, Ray.
All right, I'm going to start with one that I watched a lot as a kid. Now, do you want us to tell you the premise, and then you guys kind of figure it out?
Whatever you want to do.
All right. So this is the modern day Robin Hood. Really caring guy. Really wants to make sure that he takes in a lot of.
I just read his notes.
Takes in a lot of foster kids, make sure that they have food on the table, a roof over their head. It's not looked nicely the way that they do things, but again, he's a modern day Robin Hood. He steals from those rich companies that they don't need all this shit anyway, right?
Okay.
So he's really caring, making sure that they have a future. But there's 4 teenagers that keep getting in the way of getting the stuff that they need to keep his ever-growing family going. And Shredder just wants to kill those friggin' turtles because
That's a great way to look at it.
Modern day Robin Hood, man. He's stealing from the rich.
I mean, you've got a point. I mean, he was getting a bunch of these kids off the street and seemed to be taking. Didn't seem like they were constantly getting beaten or whatever. They were like, "Hey, we're going to train you to become, freaking foot soldiers and ninjas and stuff." So it was
so that they can continue to steal from the rich, man. And
that's true.
Damn the man.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even think about that. That's great. Well, Chris, do you want to go next?
Sure. All right, I'll go with what. No, I'm not, because I wrote it out differently. Okay, so I have a hard time with this of remembering the villains of cartoons that I watch, because I just really remember the stuff that the kids watched, and they don't have villains in their stories anymore.
Okay, just a side note, that is a thing. Like a lot of the cartoons they watch, there's like the annoying kid or the person, they're not their nemesis, but it's the one that they're always competing against. But that's about it. Like there are no real hardcore villains hardly anymore.
No bad guy.
Captain Underpants, they still got bad guys.
Well, okay, yeah, there are bad guys on that.
Yeah, the one thing.
Yeah,
and it's recent.
Yeah.
And then I watched a lot of like sitcoms, and those don't have villains in them either.
Yeah.
So I have a really hard time remembering anything. So the first one I remembered was Gargamel and Azrael. That was the first
Okay.
one. So here it is. Okay, so Gargamel is a simple farmer who is trying to earn a living and feed himself and his beloved cat Azrael. But he has an infestation of some type of creature that keeps destroying his crops and terrorizing his cat. He tries, mostly in vain, to catch the creatures. He tries to tell others, but they don't believe him. Over time, it becomes an obsession, driving him mad. And one day, he catches one.
Nicely done. You know what? That Gargamel actually crossed my mind, and I couldn't really I kind of thought about it, and I just kind of glanced over. But yeah, he did cross my mind as being someone that could be misunderstood.
Yeah, because he just seems so at his wit's end with these stupid Smurfs, and it had to have started from somewhere. You can't just wake up and decide to go after these Smurfs for no reason. So.
It was a long time coming.
Yeah, they had to come in, those little blue jerks.
Jerks.
Pardon me. The first one I'm gonna jump off with is okay, so he's portrayed as a bad guy the whole time, but here's the thing. Is Megatron okay? Listen, this is all I'm saying. He stepped up to lead the corrupt leadership of Cybertron. Obviously, something was going on with the leadership of Cybertron, and it caused this massive war. And he was stepping up, trying to end the war one way or the other. Obviously, the council that was running things, something was happening there, so he decided to step up. So, and when he lands on Earth, I mean, you look around, and it's very clear to see that, well, these people obviously don't care about the damn planet. I'm just going to take some of the resources and try to bring my planet back to life. I'm trying to help my people out of a war and rebuild our civilization. That's something noble to go after. It may be a couple missteps here and there, but there could be some wiggle room there.
The road to hell is paved with
good intentions.
So.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
I think you're going to be saying that a lot in this episode.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to spin it when you see some of the other stuff he does. But it's one of those things that one of the things that makes a good villain though is to be able to at least kind of step into their thought process. That's why the Vulture in Spider-Man: Homecoming was an excellent villain. So, not that I would have gone to those lengths or made those decisions.
And you can see why he did it.
But you can see why he did it. Magneto wants to wipe all of the humans off the planet. But if you grew up with what he did, it's like, well, kind of can't blame you. I mean, yeah. So, But yeah, those are some of the things that make a good villain, is being able to kind of see things from their side. So, Sean, who is someone that you think might be misunderstood?
So I gotta admit, I kind of read the topic incorrectly.
Okay.
So what I went and did was I picked a few cartoons and altered them to kind of either like do a flip or just change the whole perspective entirely.
That's perfectly fine, because I did a little bit of that myself.
Well, and I'm gonna pick my first one was Smurfs as well.
Okay.
Right off the bat, but so like in mine, the Smurfs are evil. They like lure kids into the forest by singing and all that, and then they eat them. So like, yeah, Gargamel is actually like the town physician, and he gets cursed by the Smurfs to be turned ugly. And Azrael is actually his daughter. She got cursed by the Smurfs too, and the only way for them to get the curse lifted and protect the kids is the blood of 12 Smurfs in a stew or something like that, and they'll lift all the curses and all that. But yeah, that was, I just flipped it right around. And
so in your version of the series, does he ever get close? Like, does he get maybe 10 of them, or does he just never get his hands on any of them?
it depends if this is going to be a TV series or a movie.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it depends on the rating.
That's true.
If we can do it R rating, man, they're going in a blender, all of them. Gremlins, baby.
Oh yeah. All right, Ray, do you have another one for us?
I do. I went with a movie this time, though. Just
Okay.
Change it up. Because I will say this was actually inspired by a film theory that was just recently put out there, that Scar was actually the rightful king. If you think about it, and the way that hierarchy actually works and all that stuff, he would have been. He would have been the natural king, because he was the oldest heir. Simba was clearly not old enough.
True.
And so my little twist that I did on this one, just for his perspective, I don't think it was ever shown properly in the movie, and it was that he saw that there was this natural disaster coming, and he saw that the only way for them to survive was to join up with the hyenas and make sure that everybody had enough food, because if they kept fighting for the same amount of food, like nobody was going to survive. So he saw this coming, and he was trying to tell Mufasa, like, listen, I need you to be on my side on this. I need you to see that this is coming. And Mufasa and him would argue about it quite a bit. And that's why everybody thought that Scar was a bad guy. But really, he was just caring for his lions, the lion, his pride. And he felt like he knew this was coming and he needed it to happen. And so when when he goes and he sees that Mufasa's on the cliff and he swipes down to try and save his brother, it just misses and he falls. And to Simba's view, it looked like it wasn't an accident. It looked like he tried to kill his brother, but he was swooping down trying to save him. And so when he dies, and Simba runs off, but Mufasa does what he says, and he joins up with, and he's keeping that pride alive, right? He's keeping those, even though the natural disaster is hit, he's keeping everybody alive, which is what he wanted. Except that Simba comes back, and he's blaming Scar for the disaster that had nothing to do with them. And so that's kind of the story there.
I almost wish this remake that came out was that story. Which, just as a side note, has anyone seen the new one yet?
Yeah.
My youngest went and saw it today. He really liked it.
Really? The reviews, like Rotten Tomatoes, wasn't good, but it's like 55%. But everything that all the stuff I've been reading is like all of the animals have no facial expression and they have dead eyes, and I'm just like, yeah. You watch some of these videos early, since kind of like they're singing. It's like it's kind of like when you give a dog peanut butter and then voice over it, but just taken to like the nth degree. I don't know. Christy wants to go see it. We'll probably maybe go see it with the boys, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe Disney needs to stick to redoing people.
It's too many.
I think they've just too many too soon, right? Like you could have done a couple and then kind of sit for a bit, and then you do a couple and get excitement right for the next one, and then
do something original. Let's throw that in there.
Throw a couple of original ones in there.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
So,
and this
all
is
right, Chris.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say this is the problem that I had with Lion King when we were picking our movies for the summer blockbuster. It's an animated movie of an animated movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It is technically an animated movie. It's not even a live action, really. It's animated, just different way.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So my next one is Angelica from the Rugrats. When I watched this, because she was always calling them. She's the villain. She was always calling them dumb babies, and she was always trying to get in their way and boss them around and all this kind of stuff. Because she's the oldest, because she's 4 and knows everything.
Of course, you defend the oldest.
So, really though, she is an only child to 2 workaholic parents. She is alone a lot, and the only friend she has is her doll Cynthia. So when she is cared for, she's often dropped off at her aunt and uncle's place, where she is yet again alone because there's too many babies and toddlers to receive any kind of attention of any kind from anybody. So she's lonely, and she starts to get attention by any means necessary, which is
antagonizing the
babies, because she doesn't have anybody. Her parents don't pay attention to her. Her aunt and uncle don't pay attention to her. Even when she is being a jerk, they don't pay attention to her. So she's alone.
Trying to get any attention she can get.
This is why
you're making me feel bad for her, and I hated her.
I didn't like her. Think about it. She was
pretty lonely.
Yeah, she didn't have anybody except Susie, but Susie came later.
Yeah,
Susie was her own person. So.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. She's just trying to be her, and like you said, she's literally surrounded by a bunch of babies, and her parents are not paying attention to her. No one else. All the adults are just way out there in that cartoon.
Oh yeah, and that whole time, yeah, those children are left alone too much.
Yep, absolutely. The next one I had was also kind of a little bit of a different retelling, but still kind of there. Does anyone ever feel like Barney in the Flintstones just like kind of humored Fred, and he was constantly being bullied?
Yeah.
Because Fred was a loudmouth and kind of pushed everyone around. And I mean, Barney's living next door. He can't afford to move, so he just kind of has to humor Fred. He just has to deal with all the crap that's going on, and Fred's a loudmouth. He doesn't treat Wilma the best. So like, Betty's basically kind of like her friend / therapist. It's just like, it's a bad situation there in Bedrock, and you feel bad for the dude. I mean, yeah, he laughs and stuff, but it's not, it sounds jovial, but it may be more like, yeah, whatever you say, dude. Just don't punch me in the face.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Just don't hurt me.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Kind of got this feeling that maybe things aren't so great there. And like I said, him and Betty every night are just talking about like when they can move and how they can get away and seeing if they can talk, freaking talk Wilma to taking the kid and going. So just saying enough is enough.
Yeah, Fred was it based on
The Honeymooners?
Honeymooners.
Yep. So, but yeah, I thought about the Flintstones. That I could probably use a retelling, which supposedly we're getting a new Flintstones, and it's not going to be done by Seth MacFarlane. Apparently, he was going to do it and has dropped off the project or something. So, I don't know who's doing it, but
he's too busy with Orville.
Yeah, probably.
He's in 3, as he should be. Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, Sean, what's your next one?
My next one is a slight twist on King of the Hill.
So, okay.
Okay, because there's no villains in King of the Hill. It's just
true.
Like what we were talking about earlier, not. So, you guys, I'm assuming you guys watched X-Files. Okay, there was an episode on X-Files called Arcadia, and it's basically Fox and Scully go undercover in Arcadia. It's a little hamlet that people are like disappearing, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
It's the whole episode focuses around you have to maintain the status quo, all the rules and regulations, otherwise a monster is going to come and kill you. So that's what they're tracking down. So with that in mind, King of the Hill, Hank and the boys are running that place. Just you have to have everything just so. If you break one of the homeowner association rules or something like that,
something bad happens,
you're dead. So like Hank is like the man, and like if everything's running smooth, it's a normal series. But as soon as something happens, so Hank's running it. Dale's obviously head of surveillance. You got Boomhauser, who is kind of the public affairs guy, plus he's a bit of the muscle. And then you have Bill, who is the example guy. See, he screwed up his lawn one time and Hank lobotomized him with his propane accessories. So he's been made an example of to keep him out there. But yeah, the series could be just normal, but as soon as someone breaks a rule, Hank, you know what? He goes out and takes care of business.
And unfortunately, Bobby keeps screwing stuff up because that boy ain't right.
Exactly. But he's the boss's son, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a little twist.
That's hilarious. All right, Ray, you got another one?
I've got a really tiny one, and then I got another one that I really like.
Okay, I've actually got two more as well. So
okay, so I'll do the little one. Pinky is the real brain. Pinky is the one that always points out the flaw in her schemes and his plans. And I stole this one from Chris because we were talking about it with the kids.
Yeah,
Pinky's the smart one, man. Pinky's like, dude, he's joyful. He loves life. But he's the savant that says, that's fucked up. That's wrong.
Not gonna work.
That's not gonna work. If you and he doesn't go on to say what would really happen if he went, if Pinky were to actually come up with a plan, he would see it all and be like, they would have taken over the world.
There would have been no show, so that's why.
And so they've just held on.
So he's just humoring him, or
he just likes watching brains struggle.
Oh, okay, I got it. I was gonna say, so is he like? How did they put it in this last book we just read? Little fingering him? Like is he like pulling the strings and he's like?
I think he's just humoring him. Like, listen, that's not gonna work, dude. But okay, we'll go through with it. Anyway, that's just a quick one that we discussed it briefly.
Very nice. Do you have another one?
Me? Yeah,
Yes.
I only have one more. One more. So mine is Megabyte from Reboot.
I was wondering if one of y'all was going to take on Reboot.
I love Reboot.
I'm glad she took it because I like her version.
So, along with his sister Hexadecimal, they've been abandoned in an unknown landscape and soon separated. Megabyte vows to find his sister and make their way back home. But everyone he encounters tries to stop him, believing that he is a criminal on the run because when him and his sister appeared, it was around the same time that there was a disaster destroying parts of mainframe. But it was their father, Kilobyte, that's to blame, not them. So Megabyte is just trying to get his sister, find her, and pull her ass at a mainframe to just get back home. And it was their dad who did all the damage, and he's the real villain, whose name is Kilobyte. I found that out. I didn't know that.
And everyone else is just getting in the way.
Yeah, everybody else is getting in the way.
Gotcha.
think they're the bad guys.
Yeah, they think Megabyte and Hexadex are the bad guys, but they're not. It's Kilobyte, their dad.
I like that. Did y'all see the history of Reboot that I sent, the YouTube video?
I have to admit, I don't think I watched it.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, the guy who does Toy Galaxy on YouTube does these really good histories of random cartoon series or toy series or something like that, and he did Reboot, and I understand why now it had the issues that it had and why it only lasted as long as it did and everything else, because it's like, man, that show almost never should have been made. Like, there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with that thing. So, but I enjoyed it too. When they did show it down here, I did enjoy it. So, but it didn't seem to hang around very long. The next one that I had is the theme song even tells you that there's a problem. Did y'all ever watch Heathcliff?
Yes.
There's a specific line in there that says terrorize the neighborhood. What if he's not really the hero? What if he's the villain? Like, he's got a gang of cats, they steal food, they get into fights, they sexually harass the female constantly. They're just constantly coming on to her. I'm like, wow, you're not really that great a dude. Like, it's almost the there's a thing out there that I can't remember what it's called. It's something like Zach Morris is an asshole or Zach Morris is a jerk or whatever. And it goes back and it looks at these old episodes of Saved by the Bell and looks at Zach's actions, and they're like, he was a douchebag. He was not the hero in that series. He was a royal douche.
I never liked Zach ever. I always said he was a jerk.
He was a jerk.
And I'm like, man, I think Heathcliff kind of falls into the Zach Morris phenomenon there. Like, he's presented as being the hero you want to root for, but in reality, his actions are not kosher.
He's Jim from The Office.
He's Jim from The Office.
Technically speaking, but I still love Jim.
I like Jim with Pam, but I don't like Jim by himself.
Single Jim is not a really nice guy.
Jim's not nice.
Yeah, but Dwight asked for it. Anyway,
Listen, no.
Dwight does his own shit.
He's not any better.
Yeah, true. So yeah, I thought Heathcliff would be one to look back at on and be like, I don't know, this is kind of shady stuff. So,
we'll look that one.
Sean, what's your next one?
All right, I've got one left.
Okay.
This one kind of got a little dark. This is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Claymation movie.
Dude, keep going.
All right. So the story is identical right up to the point where he makes it to the island of misfit toys. Right?
Okay.
There, he becomes radicalized and filled with hate. And they start up the guerrilla warfare thing and all. He becomes the leader. And then, he comes back with an army of misfit toys into the village. And those who laughed and called him names lose their noses. They get them all cut off. When he sees Clarice again, he does the whole Hannibal Lecter, hello, Clarice.
Oh my God.
I'm not even going to attempt it because it just sounds stupid.
Hello, Clarice.
There you go. Let's see. Hermie, the elf.
Uh-huh.
He starts practicing all of his dental stuff on unwilling patients and yanking all the teeth out and all that because he just.
That's horrific. That's a nightmare of mine.
Santa tries to defend the village, but is surprisingly betrayed by Mrs. Claus, who turns out to be a closet sadist. So she's been slowly poisoning Santa for years with the cookies, but this just sped things along. So then they flash freeze Santa, throw him in the middle of the town as an example. And happily ever after.
I thought for sure you were going to go off on these whole things that point out that Santa Claus is an asshole. All the other reindeer are jerks. Like, all of the elves are just. Everyone in that movie is basically an asshole to our central characters.
So you can understand why it was. I found when I was writing these, it was just much easier to convert good people into bad ones.
Uh-huh.
To corrupt them. It's
Yeah.
so much more fun to corrupt.
So this is like falling down at the North Pole.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that for Gargamel, but yeah.
It's funny. I saw something on Facebook the other day that was like, watch Falling Down as a kid. Thought, what's this asshole's problem? Watch it as an adult. Was like, no, I understand.
I get it. Yeah, he's a hero.
Yeah.
So, Ray, you said you had one more.
I do have one more. This is my last one.
This one I like. This one's good.
So
this is why I didn't pick this cartoon, because that one was just way too good.
I picked this one.
It's
Well, we'll see.
It's my favorite cartoon as a
They
kid.
may not like it. Anyway, so Inspector Gadget.
Okay.
If you think about Inspector Gadget, he had to go through a lot of shit to get the way he did, right? So he's gone through a lot of surgeries, a lot of rebuilding, very much like Wolverine had to, right? And if you look at it, Wolverine didn't do so well mentally.
Yeah.
And every time you see Dr. Claw, he's looking at a monitor. And so it's just Inspector Gadget looking at himself. They are trying to... he's lost his mind. He's completely insane. And they're trying to bring him back by letting him watch the good deeds that he used to do. And it's this alter ego that is lost it. And
See? Yeah.
I like that.
That's pretty trippy.
I just have it all.
I like that.
I had it down as one of my things, and then he told me that. I'm like, no, I can't.
That's why you never see his face, because it is Inspector Gadget, man. And after all those surgeries, could you imagine?
Oh yeah,
you would lose your mind. And yeah, so to try and bring him back, they're like, no, these are good things you used to do, and he's like, nope, that's my alter ego. That's my arch enemy.
Yeah. Very. I like that. That is trippy. Before I throw my last one out there, let's bring up the one that Jay used as his example, and that was Skeletor from He-Man. And he's like, what if Skeletor was trying to save Eternia from an oppressive monarchy? And I was like, yeah, I mean, monarchies tend to not do so well. Like, they basically called in this muscle to put everyone, keep everyone in line. So I was like, that was an interesting idea. I kind of like that one. The last one, go on.
I just thought of one real quick while you guys were talking, but go ahead, Dee.
Oh, okay. I was going to say the last one that I had was, so there's this group of scientists running around the city with fake light shows, capturing ghosts, and they're really wrecking the environment. And Walter Peck is just trying to fucking do his job. I mean, they're running around. Okay, if ghosts are real, and you're trying to capture them, which obviously they're not, then why do you have one as a pet? What? This doesn't make sense. These guys are full of shit and need to be shut down. And that's all I have to say on that. What were you going to say, Chris?
Oh, so I thought one, the Care Bears. So No Heart is actually allergic to them, and that's why his voice sounds that way, and that's why he's constantly trying to get rid of them. It's just severely allergic to the Care Bears. He's got to live far away.
Yeah, it's just an allergy thing, guys.
Just get the hell away from me.
Just stay away, everything would be fine. No.
Exactly.
Keep coming at me with your tummies. Who does
that? One other one, and I just thought of it because I was looking at the cover art for the episode, was I also put the Joker on there. You did watch... Y'all have seen the movies with Mikey where he breaks down the Dark Knight, right?
I haven't yet.
You haven't?
No.
His whole premise, and I'm not giving anything away, is Batman is not the hero. It's the Joker. And it's basically, listen, there's a corrupt government. there's all these gangsters. Batman has no problem with the corrupt government. He's just whatever. He's just going along, and the Joker's like, no, I'm going to take everyone down at once, because he's the one that actually defeats all of the crime bosses. He's the one that starts, ripping, causing issues with the government or whatever that is obviously corrupt. Batman actually does none of those things. The only thing he does is work to stop the Joker, which technically makes him the protagonist in the movie. So, of course, he explains it a lot better than I do. But yeah, go back and watch that movies with Mikey about The Dark Knight, because it's phenomenal. Like, it's like, wow, I really can't argue with that. So,
yeah, I still think that the Joker is the Batman from the future.
Batman from the future?
That was the best theory.
I do like that one.
Well, I mean, he does. There is that saying, what is it? You either die or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Villain, yeah.
Yeah. So, does anyone have anything else they want to throw out there? If not, we'll go ahead and move on to our picks and pans. All right, let's go and do it. Just to keep the train going the same way around, you want to go first, Ray?
Sure. Well, I guess our pick is the kitty. She's playing right now, so I can't grab her. But this is Minerva. Minerva.
And how did y'all settle on that name again?
Because she's a cat. You got to name the cat Minerva. We're big Potterheads, so I named her Minerva.
She is Minerva McGonagall. Yeah, it was. So I've been working on setting in the house and stuff like that, and then I needed something for one time.
We were going to get canvases
that's
for your sister.
My sister needed a canvas for her store she's opening up, and so like, hey, or no, I'm just driving by one of the shops, and she's like, hey, there's a pet store. Yeah. You want to look at cats? What? So I pulled in, and we got the cat.
So where did this come from? Was this something that's been like brewing for a while, or was this just kind of a...
Where did this come from? Because it kind of came out of left field into the car. So.
Well, I wanted... realistically, if we could swing it, it would be another dog, but we can't, because dogs are super needy, and with me going back to work, there's just the time commitment's not going to be there, and Wicket's going to end up being alone a lot, so I thought he needed a little buddy. And I've been slowly getting used to the idea of getting a cat. My sister-in-law lives next door to this family that lets their cat out. He's become this neighborhood cat, and he's gorgeous. He's a Norwegian forest cat, and he's beautiful, and he's the sweetest thing, and I love him, and if I could kidnap him, I would. And he just magically appeared at our house. That's what would happen. So knowing that Wicket, because he's super needy and he needs a buddy, and cats just sort of are kind of these independent little entities, and then coming to your house, Eugene, and seeing how well your dogs and your cats sort of lived together, even though they didn't really play together and they were very separate, but they all existed nicely together. So we're working on it. It's been over a week, and she's
actually laid down with him a couple of times, and then more recently, when she goes to lay down with him, he like growls a little bit and grumbles and gets away. And it's like, so we got to, no, you be nice to your sister.
Yeah.
Yes. Give it time. It will take time. Like, we're to the point, like, the cats have completely integrated with Max at this point, and even Conan isn't really bothered that much anymore. Like, if they start messing with him, he'll kind of at them. But other than that, like, we've gotten back to a pretty harmonious house again.
Yeah, so it'll just take time. But she's
doing great.
She's doing really good.
Wicked now that we gotta make sure he's not feeling too
left out.
He's being a little bit of a jealous older brother right now.
We're talking about you, buddy.
Yes.
Well, if he gets lonely enough, he'll decide to play. So,
which I think will happen.
Yeah, probably so. Well, Chris, do you have a pick or pan?
Pick.
Other than the cat.
Other than the cat.
Other than the cat.
Then we finished Stranger Things, and it was good. I didn't think it was as good as the first 2 seasons.
I reserve the right to comment until the 4th season.
Okay. Christy and I are halfway through it. We haven't got to finish it yet.
Yeah. So I liked it. I just didn't like it as much as the first 2. Logan,
okay.
Feelings about this, which she's making a face right now. She's got all the feels of a 13-year-old.
I've heard there are a lot of feels to be had.
Oh, yes. There's a lot. And then... I don't know, I had a whole bunch of picks. Oh, I'm reading Outland right now by Dennis Taylor, and I love it.
I'm so glad to hear that.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm about halfway through. I think I'm on chapter 48 or 48. I'm on chapter 48. And I really, really like it. Sort of want to turn into a bit of a prepper, just because it makes you a little bit paranoid. But I really like it, and I really like Roy Porter's narration. So,
yes.
Really like them. Yeah, it's really good. And then
she's at the point where shit just hits the fan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's just happened a few chapters ago, so I'm sort of getting into the nitty gritty of it. But I already love it. I loved it from like the first chapter. I'm in.
Well, it's interesting though because we listened to the first chapter together a while ago, and she's like, "No."
Yeah, but we were also listening to the and then we were listening to a few other things, and it was just like I can't right now. But and then I listened to it by myself.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, I like it."
Yeah,
good because it's good.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of my schooling, a little bit from college, just some of the things we had to learn. And I had a earth science class and a soil and soil class too, so just a little bit of that. So it's kind of neat. It was really good. I like it better than the Bobverse so far, just because I understand more of it. I can relate a little bit more to it with Erin, one of the characters. I like her.
I'm curious as to where they're going to go with the story.
Yes, I can't wait to see where he goes with it. So.
And I got a kayak, and that's it.
Oh yeah, Dude. So cool.
Sean, do you have a pick or pan for the week?
My pick is the new Picard trailer.
Oh my God, yes.
Blew me away. I cannot wait for that series. It was just
so good, man.
Seeing Jean-Luc even speaking, like a couple speaking lines, was enough. It was like, oh, this is perfect. And my pan is the heat this week. It's been absolutely brutal, horrible at work. It's hard to do anything.
It was hot. It felt hotter here yesterday than it did in Colleen yesterday.
Yeah.
So, I on the Weather Network. I'm like, that's gross.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like wearing like full coveralls and paper suits and double gloves and all that when it's 40 degrees C, which is like 104 Fahrenheit. It's hard to do anything.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, like I'm working to try to get my proton pack finished for next weekend, and I come home and I have to really work to get some motivation because I just have no motivation when I come home after work. So, and even Christy's like, just even staying at home, she's like, it's just anytime you go outside, it just drains you, and you don't want to do anything.
Close to getting an air conditioner.
Chris almost broke.
I was like, let's get one. I couldn't do it. Yeah, this close to getting an air conditioner. Instead we got a couple of fans that have made it a lot better, and knowing that tonight the heat's gonna break.
Yeah.
But so close to getting an air conditioner. I was just so done with the beanie because you start feeling nauseous and you just can't don't do anything. And then going in and out of air conditioning spaces to the heat.
That doesn't help either. Yeah.
No.
At least
and you don't want to be that jackass that walks in, the door's open, you stand there and the cold air hits you and you're just like, can I just stand here? Yes, I'm releasing all the cold outside, but I need this.
It feels so good.
Logan would just like to quickly say she watched The Never-Ending Story and she liked it, but she's dead inside because she did not cry when Artax.
She didn't cry.
Nothing. She said she felt so sad about it.
So my sister was giving me shit because Logan hadn't seen this until recently. And I said, well, we tried. She refused.
She watched it when she was little. She just doesn't remember.
Yeah, but she refused to watch it later.
Yes.
Like, I've tried a couple of times.
Yeah.
Because she liked E.T., she loved Stranger Things. I'm like, cool, this is another one you would really like.
Yep.
And then, of course, Stranger Things. And that's all I'm going to say.
Well, speaking of that, that is one of my picks. Like I said, Christy and I are about halfway through it. Like I said, I've got an event next week, and I'm really busting my butt trying to get my new Proton Pack finished. So I've been working on that. Hopefully, I'll get it done here in the next couple of nights, and we can actually finish the show. So, second pick is I actually got to watch it for the second time today. Spider-Man: Far From Home. Technically, it rounds out this phase of the Marvel movies. I can see this being the capstone. It doesn't really matter. It's a great movie. We talked a little bit about the show. I won't mention it too much, since we didn't make this like a spoiler episode. But I was a little on the fence about Mysterio. On one hand, I loved what they did, and on the other hand, I'm like, well, I could see it going the other way. But regardless, I love it, and I don't care how old she is. Aunt May is still gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Completely, I understand where Happy's coming from. Speaking of Happy, have y'all seen the movie Chef?
Yeah.
Love Chef.
Yeah.
Have you watched the Chef show on Netflix?
A couple episodes, yeah.
No.
When you get to the episode where it's him, Jon Favreau, and Tom Holland, and Robert Downey Jr., and the Russo brothers, and what's his face? That's Paul Feig, that are all, and they're just sitting there talking about food and Marvel stuff, and it's just like, this is crazy. There's a later episode where they go to Austin, and it's him and his chef friend, and they're with Robert Rodriguez, and he's talking about how he makes his movies and how it compares to how he makes like vegan pizza, and like everyone loves it, and it's just like it's so crazy. This show would totally not work on television, but it's oh my god, it's so good. Yeah, I freaking love Chef Show, and I cannot wait for them. I sure as hell hope we get a second season, because I would like to. I mean, the whole reason they did it, Jon Favreau said after they made the movie Chef, he was like, man, I miss cooking with you. And the guy's like, I miss cooking with you. They're like, well, let's just get together and we'll film it. Maybe we'll do something with it. And this is what it turned out to be. So hopefully we get something else out of it. So
speaking of Marvel, sorry, I'm going to throw one thing in there.
Yeah.
Right now, they're doing the Comic-Con Marvel panel.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to see what's coming out of that.
Right before we started the show, someone posted a picture of the timeline, and at the picture they posted just said Marvel movie, kind of, when it's there, and it was, where they're about to start announcing, and I haven't seen it. So after the show, I'm sure I'll have to check in and see what's
I'll be checking it out. And then I did see one screenshot of somebody, like they just snapped a picture, and all it said on there was "What if." So I don't know where they're going.
I've heard, I can't remember what character it was, but yeah, they were going to do a what if movie.
Really?
Amazing.
That is amazing. If we're to that point if we're to the point where we can just start doing what if stuff, hell yeah, that would be awesome.
Because there's so many stories they could do. Like the what ifs are incredible. They're incredible stories, but they have to be standalone stories.
Oh yeah, because you can't mess with this wonderful thing they've built. But yeah, being able to step out from time to time and just go, let's have some fun. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah.
So, Well, that is it for the show, ladies and gentlemen. If you would please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Music. You can also find us on a couple of the other podcasting apps out there. It really would help if you do that. Helps us get in the bump up in the ratings, and more people can find the show. You can find us at Epically Geeky on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and of course at epicallygeeky.com. There you'll also find our other shows, the Marginally Geeky Show. We just finished reviewing The Vexed Generation by Scott Meyer, and we're reaching out, trying to schedule another interview with him. And he wanted to specifically say this is the last book in the series for now. So it sounds like he definitely has plans to go in the future.
Justice for Philip!
Justice for Philip!
Yeah. Yeah. And then the Sustainably Geeky Show, the episode that just came out was about light pollution. Which was really interesting. Jen's really killing it with the guest that she's been having on. So, where can we find you online, Ray?
The Reluctant Yeti. Reluctant right now because of the heat, but yeah. But yeah, so you can find me there. I've got one more skateboard to finish up. And then I have a big 4x4 canvas that I've got. I'm going to make some changes to it. And then got another couple canvases to go. And then I'm probably going to start posting them on Instagram and putting up for sale. So we'll see if that's anywhere. Yeah.
So I need to get out of my house. There's no more room.
I need to make room for other ones that are coming in my head. And I've also got... So there's a small store it's a coffee shop in Port Elgin called Rabbit Dash. It's a wicked little store, and I've talked to them, and he might be interested in displaying the skateboards, which is pretty cool. So,
cool.
Yeah. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm working on.
Nice. Chris, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Cedar Birch Cottage. I haven't been posting anything. It's like right in the middle of Plastic Creature Pie, and I've just been watching everybody else do it. And here at Epically Geeky on Marginally Geeky and Sustainably Geeky, which we should be recording a new episode at the beginning of August. And I forget what we're doing, but we have a guest.
Okay. Sean, where can we find you online?
I'm on Marginally Geeky if I can get the book done, and Epically Geeky whenever they keep inviting me on. And
you're one of the regulars now. What are you talking about?
I know.
You're a regular.
It's Riley. You got to put a little Canadian flag in the EG logo.
Basically, yeah. Like it's
North, buddy. We the North.
Yeah. Yep. And as always, you can find me at Optimus Gene on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And hopefully I'll be posting some more pictures of a proton pack this week, completely finished, which would be nice because I'm ready to get it done. So for everyone on the site, have a good night.